Hey, thanks for tuning in. This video is going to be a little bit different. We're going to talk about fishing and how I've been catching these fish, the events that we fished this year, how we did, the baits that I've used. Contrary to belief, I have used quite a few different lures, but there's really only been like one successful bait that I've caught all these fish on. Maybe it's because I throw it 90% of the time, but I do give these other baits like a fair chance. It's just a money bait. It just works. Especially in all these situations that we've been presented. I'm going to backtrack all the way to last October. I didn't have my GoPro with me, so I didn't film it. Kind of stinks, but it was the bluegrass kayak angler, blah, 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 blah. So we're going to backtrack all the way to last October. And I think it was October 14th, 15th, don't quote me, but so it was the last tournament of the year, Bluegrass Kayak Anglers Classic. It was at No-Land one day, Rough River the next. We got to choose which day we fished which lake. It didn't matter. But if we chose Rough one day, then we had to fish No-Land the next day. I ended up winning that tournament. It was my only win for the whole year, but it was the biggest tournament of the year, and we came out with the win, with the W. So basically, how we did it, you can go to Walmart and pick up this bait. They cost $2.77. And this bait right here is the only bait that I threw. As far as during the tournament, I already knew what I was going to throw. We tried different lures in pre-fishing, but this one by far kicked all the other lures' butts. And it is the one and only. It's the Booyah Baby Boo jig here. I know I talk a lot about this jig, but it did win me the BKA Classic. And this is the only bait that I caught all of my fish on. This is the bait that I threw 100% of the time. And in certain situations, you know, it's perfect. So it just lined up in both lakes, the situation for this jig right here. And like I said, you can go to Walmart and you can pick this up for just $2.77. And even if you're a novice fisherman, I've taken several guys out on the boat when I had my boat, and I would put one of these jigs in their hand because a lot of guys have problems, you know, setting the hook. When you first get out there on the water, you don't realize that you really have to swing for the fences, and a lot of these baits that we use that have this big gauge hook. But this has a little wire gauge hook, smaller gauge hook. So don't want to set the hook with it. I use a medium heavy action rod. I just started using a medium action rod just to try it out, see what happens, but I kind of like the medium heavy. It's the St. Croix Tournament Legend Series rod that I use. It's a 7.2 extra fast action. I'll get into that later. But here's that little wire gauge hook there. You really just got to start reeling and fighting the fish. And like I said, pick these up at Walmart, $2.77. I think the key here, honestly, is the trailer that I use. And by far, hands down, this is my favorite color in this trailer here. And I'll tell you why. It's the Reaction Innovation Smalley Beaver. It's 3.5 inches long, and it's Magic Craw Swirl. I don't know if you can see that, but if you can, that's what you want to get. And here it is, up close and personal. Right there, people. That is it. That is money. This fish can't resist it. I've caught crappie on it, catfish. You know, we're fishing for bass. I mean, it's a smallmouth magnet, but largemouth love it too. So the Magic Swirl Craw it's got it's green pumpkin, and it has a swirl of blue in there. So a lot of these crawfish in the lake, I don't know if you've seen them before, but they'll have a blue tint to them sometimes. I don't know if it depends on the time of the year or what. Maybe somebody can leave it in the comment. I don't know, but I've seen blue on crawfish before. But we know bass love bluegill, so that's another reason to have blue in your trailer. And I get the I think it's 5/16 ounce. 5/16. And with a weed guard here, we're just gonna split it, take it about half and half, and we pull it back, we bend it. And that gives it a little V. I think it decreases your snags, because when it hits something, it's gonna roll off of it. Instead of being all by the hook point, all it has to do is get pushed over just a little bit, and you're gonna get hung up. So I like to do this to increase the weedlessness of the jig, and also increase the hookup ratio, because that hook point isn't coming through anything, because we just split it. You know, it's free. It's free to go ahead and hook up. When that pressure of the fish's mouth clamps down and you pull into the fish, it's just gonna slide into it. And when you're fighting the fish, that hook is just gonna sink in that fish's mouth like butter. And set your drag a little bit looser than you would with a heavier gauge hook, because we don't want to rip a big hole in that fish's mouth. So how I put my beaver trailer on there: get your skirt down, and I like to wet the hook, because this rubber, it kind of sticks to it with dry metal. So I'll just put the hook in my mouth. Watch out, don't hook yourself. So we'll just get it a little bit wet, and we're gonna take the head of that bait, and the bait's gonna go on there sideways, flat. It's gonna ride flat. So we're gonna do it just like this. Right in the tip of that bait there. Just like that. We're gonna slide it up probably about 3/4 of an inch. Flip it up to make sure it's going right in the middle of that bait, and slide it all the way to the hook keeper. There we go. Flat. You see how it's riding flat right there? And don't split the tail of your beaver. Leave it connected. A lot of people pull it apart, but I think it gives it that special action, because sometimes I like to swim this bait in the water column, and the way it glides in the water by keeping that tail connected, it's freaking awesome. All right, so the magic touch is the Spike It Dip and Glow right here. I've been using this since I was a kid, and it just works. Fish like garlic. I don't know why, but they do. Also, it gives it a little bit of its chartreuse. This is the chartreuse spike it. This has been in my kayak for a while, so it's not exactly chartreuse color. It's a little bit darker, but doesn't matter. It still works. So you dip about that much of the tail in the garlic there, and it just gives it a little bit extra visibility in stained water. Plus you give it that garlic scent. So I'm gonna dip it no matter what the watercolor is. That's just what I do. And this particular color on this jig, I use this 90% of the time. Even in heavily stained water, you can tell it's like an off dirty yellow color. Kind of the same color of stained water. It's got black and red in it also. What is this color? All right, watermelon red. Sweet. Now we know the color. Green watermelon, green 3D watermelon red. That's what we got going on. You can throw this anywhere and catch fish. So here is the plaque from Bluegrass Kayak Anglers, the October Classic Championship here. And like I said, we caught them all on this guy right here that you can buy at Walmart for $2.77. Remember, get you a pack of these. They're like $6. You can buy those at local tackle shops, Smyrna Bait and Tackle. I bought some from there. But you can go online to tacklewarehouse.com, order them there. Just go to the manufacturer site, Reaction Innovation. And Academy Sports, Cabela's, bottle of Spike It. I don't know, maybe $3 to $5. I don't remember. But there you go. And then you got a classic winning combination. Also, we got this guy here, April 1st at Barron. That video is out. I'm gonna leave it right here. This little link right here. You can click on that and go watch that video and see how I caught them fish. And guess what I caught them on? I caught them all on this guy right here. Every one of them. So that's 2 first place finishes, one in the classic, the big event, and this was the second event of the season, and this guy pulled it out for me again. All right, now I am trying a different jig because sometimes I do end up setting the hook and it'll rip a big hole in that fish's mouth, and I'll lose the fish. Sometimes you just can't help it, right? You get too excited. But a buddy of mine turned me onto this. It's one of his favorite jigs, so I'm gonna give it a try. We've actually used it. It worked out pretty good, honestly. It was the Rough River tournament. I haven't posted that video yet, so we'll wait for that one. We're gonna wait for that one to come out. But I was throwing this Kitech jig. I probably shouldn't be telling you this, but I mean, it's tungsten. I really don't know if I'd recommend it yet. They're like $6 a piece, but they're 1/4 ounce. I put the same beaver on the back. We put the same trailer on there, but I was throwing the green pumpkin and chartreuse. I don't know if you can see that color there, but we still dip the beaver in the spike it. And it's got a little bitty weed guard. The hook is a little bit smaller on this one, but as you can see, it curves upward. Now we were still splitting the weed guard to help with that bait deflection, less snags, easier hookup ratio, goes right up in there. Bink. But I was hooking these fish in the roof of the mouth, and this bait didn't do that, which is okay. I mean, it just slides in wherever it's at. But this one was hooking them in the roof of the mouth. I was kind of surprised, really, how many fish I hooked right in the roof. When you hook them in the roof of the mouth, they don't get off. And you can feel everything with this tungsten. It's a harder metal, so you throw a dime down there, you can probably tell, you know, which side is heads, which side is tails. That's how sensitive this is. So it's pretty cool. Those are my two favorite baits in the whole wide world. If I had to choose, I would throw a jig 24/7. If that's all I could throw, I would throw a jig. I would match it against any bait out there, honestly. If you had to choose one, you know, everybody's got their own deal, their own personal preference, but mine is going to be the jig, hands down. It's won me so much money. It's caught me so many fish and so many big fish. It's insane. And with all these lakes around here, they're heavily pressured. So these bass, they've seen a whole lot, and they've been caught quite a bit. This is a little finesse jig that just works. It just works for me. Either go small or go really big. Go small or really big on these lakes. I haven't went to the big side yet, but I know someone who has, and he's done really, really good. So yeah, you can downsize on any heavily pressured lake and catch fish. Throw this jig. If you're just getting started in fishing and you just want to catch some bass, you want to do a little bass fishing, I would go pick this up at Walmart. Get you a bag of these. Get you some Spike It. You're good to go. You don't have to spend that much money. You can throw it on, you know, 12-pound, 15-pound test line. Doesn't have to be fluorocarbon. You can get like P-line fluorocarbon coated. It's $10. I hate mono. I throw 100% fluorocarbon because the line sinks and it's invisible underwater, so fish can't practically see it. And don't forget, hit that subscribe button. It only takes 1 second. It will help me out tremendously if you do that. And share this video, like it, give me a thumbs up. I noticed on my last video I got 1 thumbs up and like 173 views. I think people just don't know to hit the thumbs up video, maybe, or maybe they don't like it. Maybe I suck. Who knows? But all right, until the next one, we'll see you then, guys.